weather forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, we take a look at the satellite radar picture, and look at that. I mean, that is as clear as you can get. It's just a beautiful day, but the temperatures, you know, they're slowly starting to creep up, but still pretty nice. Mid-80s, 84 Champaign, Mattoon, 86 in Decatur. We flip it over to the heat index value, and because the humidity levels are not sky high, this actually is a pretty nice number right now. Through this evening, it's going to be another calm one and another cool one. We're going to slip down into those lower 60s for an overnight low. The heat returns this weekend. Could we see any rain? We'll talk about the latest on Tropical Storm Barry and the impacts on us coming up. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
A police officer was arrested at a kid's baseball game. What police say he did to his daughter and ex-wife in front of a crowd of people.
Plus, food trucks are always on the go, but in one city, there's a spot they're not allowed. Why this has Decatur City Council talking about changes.
When it gets hot, really hot, or when it gets really cold, we're used to the call volume going up a lot.
It's a call you hopefully won't have to make. What the experts say you need to do to keep your AC running during the heat.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jennifer Roscoe. A Danville police officer was arrested yesterday at a youth baseball game for threatening his daughter and ex-wife. Brian Cornett is charged with domestic battery and assault charges. Police say Cornett was at the American Legion baseball field yesterday. They say he started yelling at his teenage daughter and threatened to beat her. That's when his ex-wife's husband stepped in. He told Cornett to stop yelling. Police say those two started arguing and Cornett threatened him. His ex-wife then jumped in between the two. Police say Cornett grabbed her by the shoulders and threw her to the ground. Danville and State Police were called to the field. They arrested Cornett. In court today, he was ordered to have no contact with his daughter, ex-wife, and her husband. He was also ordered to turn in his firearms. Danville's mayor confirms Cornett has been put on leave. We're learning more about Brent Christensen during day 5 of his sentencing hearing. Witnesses say he posed a, quote, very serious concern to his counselors. And some say more could have been done to help him.
Yeah, 2 U of I Counseling Center employees testified today, along with Michelle Zortman, Christensen's ex-wife. Christensen kidnapped and killed U of I scholar Ying Zhang 2 years ago. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting is live in our newsroom tonight. Courtney, he told these counselors a lot.
Yeah, Paul, he even told one of those counselors, who was also a witness today, that he bought things to transport and dispose of a body. But they said he indicated those thoughts were in the past, and he got rid of all the things he bought. Now, before those counselors, we heard from Christensen's ex-wife, Michelle Zortman. Zortman described their relationship, saying at one point they thought they were all each other really had. Then the defense attorney, Elizabeth Bullock, brought up the recording of Zortman saying about Tara Bullis, Christensen's ex-girlfriend at the time, quote, I hope she passes out up there and has to be carried out of the courtroom on a stretcher unconscious. Again, to clarify, Tara Bullis was Christensen's girlfriend at the time. Bullock said Zortman what she had been doing she asked Zortman what she'd been doing before that, and Zortman said she'd been crying. The defense went on to ask Zortman if she was, quote, emotionally out of sorts. When she said it, which Zortman confirmed. Zortman also said she regretted what she said. And in cross-examination, the prosecution asked Zortman about Christensen being, quote, controlling. They brought up 2 times when they said Christensen had told her what to wear to testify, but Zortman said she didn't know about that. Now back to the U of I counselors. They talked about Christensen's intake and assessment and how he ranked highly in areas like depression, eating concerns, substance abuse, and overall distress. Now they told him to follow up with the center, but no one thought he should be involuntarily hospitalized. However, Dr. Susan Zoline, an expert witness brought in who didn't actually meet with Christensen, said she was, quote, struck by that report. And she said she thought Christensen posed a serious risk and that he should have been provided a crisis safety plan. Live in the newsroom, Courtney Bunting, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Courtney, thanks.
Happening right now, all 4 lanes of a highway in Macon County have been shut down for a deadly crash. State police say a semi pulled out in front of a truck on Route 121 at Spittler
Jessica,
Park.
was it still the same?
A 32-year-old man was driving the smaller truck. He was declared dead at the scene. A child was seriously hurt and sent to the hospital. 19-year-old Zachary Jenkins was driving the semi. He was also taken to the hospital. We do have a crew headed to the scene. A 16-year-old was shot in Decatur last night. The teenager was found on East Decatur Street. Police say he made it to one of the porches on the street and asked for help. He was taken to the hospital. No word on his condition. Police are still investigating. They ask you call them if you have any information.
We have new information on a murder case in Champaign. A man was sentenced to 65 years in prison today for a deadly shooting. Sean Russell shot Darren Mitchell in August in the parking lot of the American Legion on Hickory. Mitchell told police Russell shot him before he died after surgery. Russell claimed it was self-defense.
An update now on a child sexual assault case. A Decatur pastor was sentenced to 40 years in prison. Jose Boites pleaded guilty in April to assaulting a child under the age of 13. He also has another sexual assault case that'll go to trial later this month. He's accused of assaulting a child there between the ages of 13 and 18. The circuit clerk's office says Boites was that victim's pastor.
A new food truck in Decatur had to relocate for its ribbon-cutting ceremony last night. City ordinances kept the notorious PIG food truck from holding a soft opening in downtown Decatur. Instead, it was forced to relocate to the Decatur Conference Center. Decatur has food trucks scattered throughout the city, but certain parts of the city, including downtown, are zoned off. City Councilman David Horn was at that soft opening of PIG. He says this is something the council is going to discuss.
Is it will result in a community-wide dialogue with the city government, with the Greater Decatur Chamber of Commerce, with the food truck owners and operators, and restaurants and community members, is what is the best way that food trucks can provide their goods and services.
City Council is expected to talk about the laws concerning food trucks over its next few meetings. More than 70 employers set up tables at the Bank of Springfield Center for a job fair this morning.
But it wasn't just any job fair. Part of the event focused solely on making sure those who served our nation have a smooth transition into civilian life. WCIA 3's Gabrielle Franklin is live in our Capitol newsroom. So, Gabrielle, what sort of businesses were looking to hire veterans?
Well, Jennifer, employers were looking to hire veterans with every background for all different types of jobs. Now, those jobs range from corporate companies like FedEx and Coca-Cola to state agencies like the Department of Corrections and state police. The fair was a collaboration between the Department of Employment Security and the American Legion. This is the 8th year agencies have teamed up for this. Organizers of the event also recognize companies that have a good track record of employing veterans from around the state. Some employers who were in the military themselves, they say that this event is all about veterans helping other veterans.
And as a former veteran, I have a special interest, and anytime I can talk and interface and have the opportunity to recruit or retain talent for in the veteran arena, I certainly want to do so.
Now, leaders of the American Legion say they are working hard to make sure some of the veteran skills from the military easily transfer into civilian skills. Now, employment security leaders say that foot traffic from this year's event was a little bit down compared to years past, but that's because the unemployment rate is down. But there were still a good number of veterans that turned out to get that face-to-face contact with different employers at this fair. Jennifer?
A little extra boost. All right, thank you so much, Gabrielle.
People are bracing for Tropical Storm Barry to turn into a hurricane. How people from central Illinois are helping them prepare.
Plus this.
We'll definitely be busy.
You're not going to want to visit from them on a weekend like this. What one thing you should be doing to make sure your AC keeps running.